Before I went to Cambodia with my daughter, one of the big questions that people ask me is, what's the food like? What is she going to eat? What are you going to eat for that matter? I'm Kathy from MummyTravels, and I went to Cambodia in summer of 2017 with my daughter, who was then 5. I approach food when I'm travelling with the attitude that I should try everything. This is part of the experience. She approaches it with the attitude that she hasn't seen this before and she's not going to like it, which can make things a little bit tricky. But this is what we discovered. So if you're considering visiting Cambodia with kids and you're worried about the food, here are a few tips. First of all, if you're a mix like we are, it's got the whole range. You can go more adventurous or you can go much less adventurous. So I had, for example, beef with red ants, which was really nice, although I'm not sure I tasted the red ants very much. I had stir-fried frog's legs, had these gigantic snails and a kind of lime pepper dipping sauce. In retrospect, those may not have been the best idea for me to eat, but hey, you've got to try these things, haven't you? We also came across a few other weirdly wonderful things like deep fried Frangipani flowers, which turned out to be a rather nice snack actually, along with a cocktail. If you eat the stem of the flowers, it tastes very much more perfumed, if something can taste perfumed, than the petals. So worth knowing, but definitely worth trying. Most of the food you'll find it very familiar if you've travelled around Southeast Asia. There are Thai influences, there are obviously Vietnamese influences, but also Indian, Chinese. The thing that I found is it tends not to be that spicy. So you will get something like prahok, which is fermented fish paste, and that sort of gives it depth, or you'll get tang from ginger, from lemongrass, but it's not the sort of blow your head off strong chilies. There are plenty of things as well which you'll find that crop up a lot. There's fish amok, which was lovely. We found that in quite a few places, a fish like in a coconutty spiced sauce. There was also beef lok lak, which comes with dipping sauces, that pepper lime sauce as well, but it also came with egg, and my version with rice. You get a lot of them with chips as well. You get noodles, you get lots of fried rice dishes. When we were in the south in Kampot, we had the Kampot pepper crab, which was delicious, and definitely something you should have there. That's a proper classic. But if, like me, you have kids with you who are fussy, or selective about what they will try, you can always get plain white rice. You can get fairly plain noodle dishes, or just with a bit of soy sauce on. We also found most places would be happy to do something like plain grilled chicken and white rice. She'd happily have that. You can also get Western dishes. You can get pizza. Just be, a little bit wary of what quality you're going to get. We had actually amazing sort of stone-baked pizza in Siem Reap. And then we had some really grim, cardboardy, the cheapest type of pizza you're ever going to find, which looked like it had come out of a freezer. At my daughter's request when we were in Kep. That was not so good. You also get pasta and things. You'll get pasta and pesto quite a lot, but one thing I discovered to watch out for is it's usually made with Thai basil, understandably, rather than Italian basil. I ended up eating a dish of this because my daughter decided that was strange and she wasn't having it. I thought it worked rather nicely, but again, worth knowing in advance. If you do have dietary requirements or allergies, it may be tricky. Now, I don't have massive experience of this myself, so if you do have an allergy, it's probably worth trying to find out people who have experienced this. But what I found, people in Cambodia are so lovely, they're so friendly, so helpful, and a lot of them have really good English as well, but understandably it tends to be for the common things that they're asked. So if you need to be very specific about foods to avoid, that's not necessarily something that's going to be understood. Or you might get the answer that they think you want, which is, yes, it's fine, absolutely, don't worry. When, if it's actually something you're allergic to, that could be a problem. Again, as I say, this is just, my experience of trying to communicate specific things that my daughter, say, wanted taking out, not for an allergy reason. And it wasn't always successful. So fortunately, there's no real consequences except my daughter being cross. But again, it is worth thinking about. One thing which you are definitely not going to be short of is amazing fruit, just delicious fruit everywhere. I mean, pineapples, mangoes, we had loads of dragon fruit in different colours. Also things like rambutan, mangosteen, you could practically live on fruit while you're out there. And also, so that means lots of fruit juices and smoothies as well. Another thing which is definitely worth trying is some fresh sugarcane juice. You can find it sold all over the place, loads of sauce on the street. And I had it with a splash of green orange in. It's the most refreshing thing ever. I would love to be able to get it back home. You can also get fresh coconuts with the top, slashed off and a straw put in. And those are amazing too. And not so much for the kids, but the hotels we stayed in had some very nice cocktails, and the spirits are usually hand poured. So that was fun as well. So there you go. If you are thinking of going to Cambodia with kids and you're worried about the food, I would say don't be. There is so much choice out there that you can almost always find a very plain or a Western option if you have kids who don't like it. And often the best thing is you'll get Western and Cambodian options in the same place, in the same restaurant, the same hotel, and so on. So if you want the exciting new Cambodian flavours and they don't, then you're not restricted to having chicken and chips every night, which is very good. And do try the Frangipani flowers. The one thing I never found is that classic thing that everyone asks about in Cambodia is spiders. I was looking out for deep fried tarantula the whole way and we never spotted it. But it does give me a very good reason to go back. I might not have the snails next time though. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to see any of my other tips, there are some more vlogs about Cambodia on the playlist below. You can also head to my blog, MummyTravels.com, which has more details of our trip and our itinerary. Thanks very much for watching.